You are listening to another Third Coast Nerds podcast. Put the pie in the bag or the kitten gets it.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to another Third Coast Nerds podcast. I am Chad.
This is Neil.
This is Kyle.
And we're going to struggle through this somehow because we're all having giggle fits. And hopefully, if everything records correctly, like we hope it will, this will be the first one we have with video.
Yes, we have a little GoPro pointing at us.
That you won't look at.
Nope.
Right there.
Yeah. We all kind of. For the people just listening, that was so. And now we have to censor me.
There's the first edit.
Yeah.
Thank you.
1 minute, 3 seconds in.
1 minute, 3 seconds in. Noted. So what's going on?
Man, not a lot for me, but a lot's going on in the entertainment world right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slash film's been crazy this week.
Yeah, very
Comic book
much
news
so.
has been crazy this week.
Yeah. Summer is officially here. It's been hot this week as well.
God, yeah.
Very hot. So
Yeah, first time I've jumped in the truck and saw the digit 9
yeah.
as the first number.
Yeah,
and then the next day it was like 105. So it didn't mess around getting there.
Mine hasn't shown 100 yet, luckily. So I park in the shade.
Oh yeah.
I found a new spot.
I'm out in the country.
Yeah.
There's no parking garages or shade.
No tree?
No tree.
Just pulling up those little like tents.
Pop-up canopy in the back of your truck.
No. So for my lunchtime nap, I actually have to go over to a bank and park underneath their shade tree because it's like the only shade tree anywhere around there.
Did you Google like Earth this to find out where the shade tree was, or did you stumble upon it?
I drove through the town, and I'm like, okay, well there was like an abandoned Sonic that had still like the overhang left on it. And I was like, great.
It wasn't a title store.
No, it wasn't. It hadn't changed hands yet or anything. So it still had like the carport or whatever it was over it. Still had all the parking spaces over it. So I was like, excellent. That's where I'm going to go for nappy time. And like, no kidding, like a week after I found that spot, demolished.
Oh, they saw you go.
Tore down. Yeah.
Well, that's
probably like, why is that dude camping over there? Like, and he comes and goes within an hour. Why?
And no one else shows up.
That would be kind of shady, actually.
Yeah,
You're a creepster.
Yeah.
I had a guy give me a tip though. Strange. So if you pull the neighboring headrest off, it makes an excellent pillow. I do this, and like there's a guy that's getting into his car next to me, and he kind of sees what I'm doing, and he looks at the window, and he's like, he sees me kick the chair back and put it underneath my head, and he's like, that's a great idea.
So there's you creeping in a Sonic parking lot, and some dude just pulls up next to you to watch you take one headrest off your seat next to you and take a little nap.
No, this wasn't in the Sonic. This was at the bank.
Oh, well, that's safer.
Yeah.
There's cameras there at least.
Well, it's the
You're on a list. You are on more than one list. I'm just saying.
I've been doing it almost every day now for 3.5 years.
You're under surveillance.
Well, he's in the country, so it's okay.
Yeah, it's all okay. And the only other spot that has shade trees is like the school.
Oh, and you do
Not
not
gonna do that.
know.
Not gonna do that. That's definitely list time.
Well, now it's summer, though.
Yeah, but they have like summer school sessions and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So
Not
it's like-
smart kids.
Then they're going to be like, oh, he's just preparing for school next year. Like,
Yeah,
planning it out. Not good.
I've been left back 15 years.
So anyone going to the movies this weekend?
Maybe. Want to.
I want to go check it out. Jurassic Park, Jurassic World. We're talking about. Yeah.
It's gone global.
It's gone global. The first one was on TV the other night, and you don't turn off Jurassic Park.
It actually has been running pretty much nonstop on a few channels. I ended up watching all 3 of them back to back to back twice while playing tabletop games on my coffee table this week. It was very nice.
Nice.
That's the only reason I miss having cable, because I have to choose to watch something. Y'all are running into stuff, and I'm like, I should watch that. It's been like 10 years.
Yeah, see, the TV tells me what to watch.
I don't like to be told to do anything.
It's so rare that my TV gets turned on, like the actual satellite box.
Yeah.
Is that when it does? I'm like, oh, hey, look at that. It's either like effects with like unlimited reruns of The Simpsons,
Yeah.
or whatever the satellite woke up to.
Mine's usually a Chromecast background.
Yeah, I got that a lot now, too.
Yeah.
That's about it.
But I am definitely hoping to go see this possibly Sunday morning.
Okay.
I don't like people. So since we don't have very many listeners right now, I feel okay saying this. Go to the matinees on a Sunday. Everyone else is in church or not awake yet. It is awesome.
There's only one bad thing about going to the movies on a Sunday morning.
Yeah.
It's the movie theaters I go to. The bar's not open at the theater yet, so
Yeah.
you got to take your own.
I think you have to get there after noon for drinks.
Yeah.
Well, also, like Alamo Draft House in Vintage Park is usually fairly empty.
Yeah.
Like, it's
And
kind of surprising.
I go to the one in Humble just because it's right around the corner.
Yeah.
But they have like waffles and a movie, so you can do like breakfast at like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning and watch a movie eating breakfast.
Mimosas?
Now, the same thing applies. If you don't have a Saturday, maybe, because I think you can buy drinks that early, but I've never tried it on a Sunday.
We should
Yeah.
just go to the one with recliners and take our own pancakes and mimosas and just be like, don't worry about the backpack.
Sir, no. You cannot bring in your own pancakes and waffles. No. Put the syrup back up.
Well, ever since Kristen's birthday at Brick House with their chicken and waffles there,
yeah.
like I want to export that from Brick House and take that to the movies.
Yeah, I went to brunch last week. It was Sunday, I think.
Yeah.
I did not get chicken and waffles.
It was Saturday.
Was it Saturday?
Yeah. I woke up and he was like, oh, we're going to Brick House. And I was like, they're already there. That was an hour ago. I was so sad.
Sadly enough,
So I watched Star Trek.
Sadly enough for that to work, Narissa took a nap because she had to work that night and she knew she'd be up. Mm-hmm. Kristen had already run 12 or 13 miles. And me and Ed went and played basketball at 9:30 to make sure that we would be able to make it to brunch at 1. So it was a rough day because then after that we went to Etten Games and I bought the expansion to Revolution. So family vacation. I have the exact same copy as Dane.
How's that shop?
Pretty good. It's a little small, but it has at least 15 to 20 people in there playing every time I've gone in.
Nice.
Is it more game centric or your?
It is all game centric. There are no comics there. The only books you'll find are the game manuals. They have all the Warhammer type stuff, so you can get all your figurines. They have a lot of paint and hobby type stuff, obviously, because a lot of the games require that these days. They've got a wall of magic. They've got singles. They've got the dollar bin or whatever to look through for all the commons, uncommons.
Did I link you to the Reddit post, the Imgur, the photo of the guy that like made the floor in his game room covered with magic cards?
Yes, that was really cool.
That was neat.
Yeah. But they've
Why
got
don't you send me that?
I actually didn't know if I linked it to anybody or not. But
I've seen it. I don't know if you sent it to me. It's all kind of a blur with all of our hangouts. Who sends what sometimes?
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, they have I would say probably 8 of the 6-foot tables set up, and there's always people playing. So I went after brunch with a couple friends, and I bought an expansion. I also bought the live counters for Munchkin.
Nice.
They had the bags of them in there for like $10 for 6 of them.
Yeah.
Makes it a little easier to keep count. Game goes faster. Why not? The expansion Revolution. Kristen got Mansions of Madness. Really fun game. She also bought the Hobbit game, which is a board game. It's actually really fun as well. And then my friend Mark got 2 games that I can't remember the name of them, but I'll probably be going to play them tomorrow night at his house. So
Cool.
Nice.
yeah. It was a lot of gaming last weekend, 2 nights. That wasn't counting like some other friends came over to play Revolution on Friday night. So
Cool.
Yeah, I'm jelly. I think.
Yeah, at some point, still, I need to learn how to play Munchkin at the very least.
yeah, it's just really not that hard.
Got it downstairs. You want to go? We'll go play.
I will say
we'll pause the podcast right now. That's it, guys. All right.
come back next week. There's something to say about YouTube videos for some of these games. These games are very in depth, and thank you YouTube people for some gameplay videos because it helped out quite a bit. It took us over 2 hours to unpack the game. There were about 150 figurines that went on these little squares. Little plastic things popped in, and then they had a little like 1-inch square card. You slid under it in a certain way, so only certain things were revealed. And then, there was 4 of us playing. One person's the keeper, and everyone else is like trying to find out what happened in the scenario. And that person basically just has spells they can cast at you and stop you from doing things.
So it's like magical Risk with elements of Clue.
Yes.
I'm trying to
But,
piece together
dude,
like
this
what
thing,
this may be.
like it had like traps in it. So like you would come up to a puzzle basically, and to continue or to find whatever was under that puzzle. And all the puzzles were arranged based on the scenario you chose at the beginning of the game. But like you had to build a complete circuit out of these little cardboard pieces with wires coming on different sides. So you're like
like dominoes on top of it.
kind of, but like depending on one of your stats, your character stats, is how many tries you got or how many actions you could take. So like my character was like strong and could like kill things, but he was dumb. So like when it came to like puzzle time, it's like, all right, I can lay these things out here and flip them over, and then I got 2 tries. It's like, well, there's 13 tiles and 7 of them have to move, so I'm here for a while. But I mean, you had to build like a legitimate circuit, you know, blue wire to blue wire, red wire to red wire, come all the way around, complete the circuit, and you pass the thing. So it was like games inside of games inside of games. And we started putting stuff together at 5 in the afternoon. Started playing the game around 8:30. A little bit of a break from putting it all together, and then we finally ended the game at 1:45.
Wow.
So this is not a drinking game.
No,
Like if you're drinking during setup, you're never going to play.
it was so much fun though. The board
It's
was
mousetrap for adults.
But yeah, it was. I mean, well, realistically, you don't need all the pieces for every game,
Yeah.
every scenario. But we were just unpacking everything, and I've come to the realization that I want one of those Plano tackle boxes that you put the drawers in, and just for each game that I'm starting to get, because there's so many pieces to these things.
Everything that I do ever that involves multiple pieces. I have so many tackle boxes laying around, like different bait sorters.
Yeah.
I probably have like maybe 8 of them for guitar parts alone.
Nice.
And then all of my electronics from building amps.
Yeah.
I have 3 of the big like collapsible tackle boxes,
Yeah.
all labeled because heaven forbid we use like a 160R resistor.
But is your label maker labeled?
No.
Mine is.
Mine is too.
Isn't that like the default first move that everyone has to make with label maker?
Yeah, it is. So
Mine was a second.
you didn't read the instructions.
It was the second label I made. I made a label for my brother's label maker first. The other brother.
But yeah, I love those bins. But that game the art on it was really, really cool. Like it was drawn like almost comic book style, but more like Grimm fairy tales comic book style. So
One more time with the name?
Mansions of Madness or Mansion of Madness. I may have said one too many S's.
Mansions of Madness, yes.
I was
Fantasy flight games. Holly at your boy.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So
That reminds me a lot of Clue.
it's similar, but it's much, much more involved.
Like immediately the cover art, I'm like, that reminds me of Clue.
Yeah, because like the keeper was spawning zombies and chasing us around with zombies.
That would make Clue so much better.
And I think there was like a Cthulhu piece too. So like it goes from zombies all the way up the chain of monsters to Cthulhu.
Nice.
So guess what? Yeah, they can do anything. There were pieces 3 feet long and like 3 deep on my coffee table.
Nice.
It was cool.
There's a,
It makes me really wish they made the Game of Thrones clue that they had for what is it? I think he did it for the April 1st.
Yeah, I think Geek did for April Fool's Day.
Me and Ed talked about that. We think that it should always end in the study. George R. R. Martin with the pen every single time.
Regardless of what cards you draw.
Yep.
That's what happens. If you could make a game that came out to that outcome every time, you could make a lot of money. Like, I shuffled them for 3 straight hours, and it happened again.
it's kind of like remember back in like 2nd grade, they had like the Choose Your Own Adventure books.
Yes.
And there was that one book about like the kid that gets abducted by aliens that always ended, no matter which path you took. There were endings that had like happy endings, like, oh, he lived happily ever after. But every path that you took, it sabotaged you and you died. No matter which path you took. Like a lot of people tried to work their way backwards.
Yeah.
Through like, the happy ending and find out how to get there, and there's no way to get there.
That's awesome.
It's just like an Easter egg, like, haha.
When I drew mazes as a kid, that's what I did. I started from the back and then just stopped it in the middle somewhere and then started from the front. So that way, like, there was no way. And I'd give these things out to kids and be like, yeah, you can't do it. Yeah, it was probably a little mean, but...
Oh, gosh. Everyone in the circle has been trolling since before trolling was a thing.
Yeah, very much so.
Back... Oh... confessions, man. So like back in 7th grade, I think it was 7th or 8th grade when comics were hitting and they had all like the foil covers. I made it my thing because I would sell drawings because some people thought I was okay. I haven't drawn anything in like 20 years, so I'm horrible now. But I would do it with a Sharpie on a piece of tinfoil.
Nice.
And put it on a foam core back and put it in like a little cheap frame and sell it like it was like limited edition art.
An entrepreneur at age 7.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Did you use the shiny side of the foil or the dull side of the foil?
I tried with both. Mm-hmm. And I made like the matte side was like, oh, that's the special platinum edition.
You know, foil comes in many colors. You should set up a booth at, a random flea market and see how you would fare.
They're all signed by the artist.
Right?
They're all signed by the artist. Yeah, and like no one ever put 2 and 2 together because I would just like find different ways to write my name.
So everyone's buying your name on a piece of like 3-cent like aluminum foil.
Yeah, yeah.
So the only thing that make this story better is if like his sandwich for lunch was wrapped in the foil, and then he would just unwrap it and draw on it when he's done with his sandwich and then sell it.
It was always a twofer because I would draw it. I learned this technique very early on. If you took the sheet of paper and laid it on top of the foil and then drew the pencil art, you could separate it and then go back in and trace your artwork with the Sharpie. And then I would have like the original pencil drawing, which I would sell to like the 5th graders. And then I had the foil art, which would bring the big money. I say big money because it was almost always traded for like lunch items, or it was traded for team captain in basketball.
Nice.
So I got first pick.
You had apples for days, or pudding if you prefer.
Oh, the pudding. But yeah. We got way off top. We were at Jurassic Park.
We were at Jurassic
games
World, and then we went on a gaming thing.
Yeah, the gaming thing is really cool, though. I like the look of this game.
It looks fun. It was a lot of... I picked the map, because at this point we had spent 2 hours unpacking.
Do they have different maps?
Well, basically, you pick one of 5 scenarios.
Okay.
And then whoever you just designate as the keeper gets to pick one of 3 ways that scenario can play out. And based on those 2 decisions is how your map is laid out, where the traps are, where the puzzles are, and all that on the board. I just chose the one with the smallest board, because I had been dealing with this game for over 2 hours already, and I just wanted to play. Well, apparently, between the smallest board and the scenario that was picked, it was the longest, most drawn-out game that required the most setup known to man. So that didn't help. But Ed came over. He played.
I heard a little bit about this at work. Apparently, there was a confusion on the tips. Like the clues, they're supposed to be flipped over, but while you try to find the objective.
Oh, yeah.
And Kristen didn't do that. So he said, luckily, y'all drew a clue that said reveal the objective, so that part didn't have to worry about it. But
well, yeah, you had to do. Yeah, we didn't understand what those envelopes. We messed up stuff. Like that game and the Hobbit game, we did things wrong, and kind of like the way we played it. But
there's house rules for a game you just opened up.
We'll probably run into the same issue on this vacation next week. I want to play the Firefly game I've had since Christmas.
Oh, wow. You're finally going to bring that?
Yeah, because I bought the expansions. I have 2 expansions for it, so we can get everyone in. And I've heard it's not as difficult as the game you just described, but it's pretty in-depth as well. So I think we'll get quite a few game nights in, and then we'll have discussion on those when we get back.
I mentioned it before, but back in I think in '96, like in the trading card game boom, there was a SimCity collectible card game that sounds. There was no outcome to the game. You just tried to find out what the whole purpose of the game was.
They losted you.
Extremely. Like I would show up to the card shop with like my horrible Magic deck, which had like stuff. Like I started playing in beta, so it was like all of the root cards from beta. Like I'd never opened up one of like the great cards. It was always like, oh, I have this green dragon, I have this red dragon because dragons look kind of cool, and there's this black spell, and it was horribly put together. And there would be like no one would be in the shop playing Magic. Everyone would be playing SimCity or Rage or any of these other games that I'd never heard of. I'm like, that looks like complicated Magic cards. They have a building on that Magic card. Like I had no vocabulary. I had no idea this was a different game. Like I knew of SimCity, and I was like, "Did you invent this? Did you just make this card game up on your own?"
What kind of printer are you using?
Yeah. which would have helped ramp up my proxy game way early in life.
Yeah, it's weird. And I copied a lot of things from a lot of medias, but didn't think way back in the day I could just print these.
Yeah.
Wait, there's a website where you just type them in and wow, that was not hard at all.
Yeah. I remember our games like at work having to explain like what the proxy was.
Yeah.
And our horrible handwriting.
Because it was a land with like 2 letters drawn on it and a green marker.
Yeah.
So
Found SimCity, 2 boxes, and a starter deck. We can play.
Yeah, that's the great thing now. Like all these games that were out forever ago are dirt cheap now.
oh yeah.
Oh,
Gaming
this
is
is more of a collectible price. It looks like.
Oh, really? What's the price on it?
A lot more than Magic. There's some that are up in.
Is there a number
The 200s, but best
for a
offer.
box?
Yeah, that's for the combination box.
I bet that comes with the elevator shaft.
And then here's one for $49 for just one sealed box.
Yeah, to anyone who's listening, if you can find Wildstorms, I have a weird obsession about this game for some reason in the past couple of weeks. It was a game put out by Image Comics with all like the Wildstorm, all of Jim Lee's characters.
Yeah.
And they eventually spilled over, like everybody did something for that card game. DC did something, Marvel did something.
Nice.
Eventually it involved like all the Image guys. It had a lot of independent comic characters on it too. But the only traces I've found of this game are unrealistically expensive right now.
Booster box, $150.
Yeah, for me, for like
one.
for a nearly 20-year-old game, probably is 20 years old.
For a booster box, so how many packs is in a booster box?
36.
It looks about the same as a.
So
a
yeah,
fat
I mean
pack.
that's the exact same price as
No, this looks like a fat pack.
9.
Really?
That's significantly different.
what
But
it looks
otherwise,
like.
I mean, Modern Masters is $150 a box right now,
I'm
so that
seeing
would be
cards for like 13. The individual card.
Yeah,
but-
yeah. Like the individual cards, like for Grifter and for Spawn and stuff like that, are still like $13, $15, $20
yeah.
for this freaking card game that's not supported anymore.
There's a cheerleader on one. Her name is Glory. Either that or she's a stripper, one of the two.
That's one of Rob Liefeld's characters.
He is a stripper?
She was supposed to be, I think she was supposed to be like a take on Wonder Woman. Like
With pom-poms?
Like an Amazon kind of goddess kind of thing. But it's the same Rob Liefeld formula for women: impossible waist, no feet.
Yeah, she looks like she was on the beach with David Hasselhoff. That's
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, it's like,
she's been wearing the little onesie thing.
yeah, if you took Baywatch Anatomy like 2 clicks further. And like, you don't need this backbone. These ribs can go.
So a couple days ago, we had some new designs for some new Marvel characters released. Talking
Yeah.
about drawings.
Drawings.
I missed that Saturday Night Live drawing.
Yeah.
Where what Mike Myers sat in a bathtub drawing pictures out a window.
My name is Simon, and I love to do drawings.
But yeah, there's well, first off, the all new, all different Marvel is about to kick off after Secret Wars, which is not a reboot. They keep saying we don't know what's going to happen, and they won't give us information yet because it's supposed to happen during Secret Wars.
Yeah.
But,
It's a secret.
right. The main thing I am very excited about is every series is getting a new number 1.
Yeah. I'm a mixed bag on the nuke and pave theory on comics. Like, yeah, there's something like OCD about me. Like, oh, the continuity is messed up. The numbers have restarted. I don't like this. Because then you like when you go to a comic book database and you have to like volume 1, volume 2, volume 13, volume 14.
Yeah.
The count goes up. But I kind of like a rebirth every once in a while.
Yeah.
You can only do so much with 40 years of history, and the dude hasn't aged.
Well, one of the things they said is that history is not going to be lost.
Okay.
So that should help those of you that don't want it to be.
Yeah.
That remember those times. But for me, where I'm still relatively new to the scene, this gives me the opportunity to start a few things that I want to start from a starting point. How many times can I say start? Yeah. But I mean, that's been the hardest thing to do for me. The easiest thing for me to start finding was the New 52. That was one of the last storylines with DC. It easy to find. We've got Batman, a few other graphic novels or comic book collections. That was cool. But all these other ones, there's so many different names and volumes, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
Now it's like, dude, and over the next 4 months, it's like I get to start. You know,
Well, that's why I really like the Firefly comic coming out.
Yeah,
because I was like,
exactly.
there's no variants. Well, there's variants because you had multiple things.
There's
but
variant covers.
There wasn't like a
Yeah.
bunch of different ones and trying to figure out what goes where. Starting out,
which
it was very
Wolverine am I
simple.
buying? Which
Well, it's annoying enough to be a fan of Arrow.
Yeah.
And to watch a TV show, and then you get jumped ahead, like from one episode to the next, and it's like, oh, based on the events of last week's Flash, which I haven't watched yet. I haven't started watching Flash yet, so I'm like, with all these, like, everything is a crossover now, and it's
Yeah.
not just an event; it's the entire continuity of the universe.
Yeah.
So it's
And-
very difficult to get even started when you have every title. You have to like kind of, you got to go read between the lines and figure out what happened.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to being. Well, guess what? I want to collect Guardians of the Galaxy. I now get to start from issue number 1.
Yeah.
You know, Chris mentioned that he wanted to get a bunch of number 1s and make frame. I'm going to go talk to the dude at the comic book store and say I'd like one number 1 of each series.
Yeah,
Reserved. About $250. There's going to be between 50 and 60 of them at $4 a piece over 4 months. Yeah, I'll pay $60 a month to get the number 1 in every single one and have them for, hey, who's coming to town? I got a number 1 to have signed.
For that, I might even do like I did for Firefly because they would always sell out
the
before I
variant
get
cover.
there. Is have them mailed to me. There's the
Yeah.
website I use that they send a little protective cover, so that way I have those just hidden away where
I
they're
like
not
going
going
to
to get
the
touched.
store, though.
No, have those hidden away for the collector's
Yeah.
part. But then I'm going to go to the store and get them again, just like I
Yeah.
did for the other one. So
yeah, cruising the trade shelves at the comic book store is always a good time. Or
It's
just-
cool.
yeah, or going through the old boxes like the way back,
Yeah.
or seeing
No.
if they happen to have like
I
that.
spent a lot of time before Comic Palooza and the way back looking for stuff at a number of
Yeah.
stores. So I was clueless as to what I was looking at a lot of times. But yeah.
So I'm looking at the art for the new image, and there's one thing that confuses me, and maybe there's a storyline that Chad can shed some light on. But they have Steve Rogers as an old guy,
Yeah.
and then they have Captain America as a black guy. Steve Rogers is Captain America.
Steve Rogers was the first Captain America.
yeah, the
But
first.
Why what, is they going to do just a Steve Rogers comic?
I don't think the black dude is the only other Captain America either.
Actually, for some reason, he reminds me of not Falcon, but maybe it's Falcon.
But yeah, they will have a comic book for
So it's going to
Steven
be two
Rogers.
separate.
Yes.
Okay.
The current person who is what we would consider Captain America is going to be the black character, and that's who it is right now in the comic book series. So, but this is where X-23 is going to come into play that we talked about last week with Wolverine.
Yeah, I like that look. She's
Yeah, it is Falcon. It is Sam Wilson.
Okay.
So he is the original Falcon character is moving over to be Captain America.
Okay.
But the shield has been wielded by many.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of that's where, and a lot of people are starting to look at what's going to change with these new things going on.
Yeah.
And obviously, we don't know what's going to change until Secret Wars is over.
Yeah.
So
We do know that certain Fox rights held characters won't be on the covers anymore. Like when they started reprinting like all the art from those old covers, they removed like certain members of the X-Men and Fantastic Four
Yeah.
from the art. So that's kind of disappointing.
But I was reading about the all new, all different. The biggest complaint, like you were mentioning, is a reboot. And Alonzo Axel, the guy, one of the main editors at Marvel, he basically said, it's not a reboot. We're not erasing our history, not throwing away any old stories. We're building upon those. There's going to be new artifacts. There's going to be new characters. There's going to be, new things and places, but it's not going to be erasing what you already know and love.
Yeah.
See, I like the X-23 because it takes me back to the '90s Wolverine that I watched on the cartoon.
Okay.
Because
There was a graphic I posted in the comic book hangout, and it was like the rundown of all the different Wolverine designs.
Yeah.
And the brown costume appeared in the most number of issues.
Oh, yeah?
or the most number of months, I guess they said.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I'm used to the yellow.
Yeah, I'm used to the yellow as well.
So, but what do you think about some of the new character designs?
The new character designs, a lot of it reminds me of. I'm going to mispronounce his name, but there was an artist named Travis Charest. He was an artist on Wildcats. He did some X-Men stuff back in the day. So a lot of these designs that are kind of more grounded in the way fabric and character, like actual humans look.
Yeah.
It's not just like an anatomy design with like paint, you know?
Yeah.
Like someone just spray painted somebody. But it's the old man Logan looks interesting, you know.
That's what I'm looking at right now, and I don't think I'm going to like that storyline. I don't know why. I think he's just going to like sit on the corner lot and yell at kids when they're on his lawn.
I would read that book.
Well, if you go back,
I'm at that stage of my life that I would love that book.
if you remember Wizard Magazine from way back in the day, they did a casting couch before the first X-Men movie, like a couple of years before the first X-Men movie, and they were like, if we were to cast X-Men, who would play these characters? And Clint Eastwood was cast as Wolverine, and which at the time, you know, would have been pretty legit.
Yeah, it actually would have been. Like, that would have been pretty big, but
Yeah.
I just can't picture him being in any superhero movie ever.
He's just he would be a little too tall. But then again, like Hugh Jackman came along and he's like 6'1,000,000, and Wolverine's supposed to be like 5'4" or something like that.
Oh, really? He's supposed to be short?
Yeah.
Why?
He's just a little guy.
Yeah, he's just a little guy.
Could they not pay for the rest of them?
That was that was his whole shtick, man. Like he was the.
They should have cast Danny DeVito then.
You never saw back at
No, that's playing in my head right now, and it's a horrible, horrible movie.
no, because the first thing that comes to mind is Tim Burton, Batman Returns, and him as the Penguin, and that's mixed with It's Always Sunny. So
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful.
him running in and eating his Wolverine, he pops the cloth, starts eating the cat food.
See, I just pictured twins where Arnold Schwarzenegger's like Cyclops right next to him, and I'm just like, no, this is a bad movie.
Wow.
Yeah, so I kept I kept thinking of the scene because it's kind of like it became like a famous thing where it was like the fastball or something like that, where Wolverine would be like, "All right, fastball," like talking about the
Fastball, talking about.
Yeah, that was
We
fun, Chad. You're going to have to start that all over, huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna. Well, we're not gonna edit anything out anymore. That's not
No?
gonna happen. I will bleep. I will not edit anything out.
Oh, so...
We hear voices in the distance, people.
And apparently you were very easily distracted.
Well, y'all took your
Oh,
headphones
something
off to listen,
yeah.
so I was curious about what was coming. Anyway, sidebar. There was a whole thing where I can't remember what they called it, fastball or something like that. Well, Colossus would transform and huck Wolverine at the enemy.
Nice.
So you could try to imagine Wizard Magazine cast Dolph Lundgren as Colossus. So in my
Nice.
head, I was trying to do the math of what it would look like with Dolph Lundgren hucking Clint Eastwood at something.
That could be very entertaining. Very entertaining.
If I could just fit in one more time the word hucking, which is very amusing to me.
So normally people talk about which one they like the best, right?
Yeah.
Which one do y'all like the worst? Because I got mine picked.
Mine,
The Miss Marvel looks a little silly.
Yes, thank you.
that and...
The Thing with the goofy jumpsuit.
No, the thing I like that is he's all like thug life, right? It's just hilarious to me.
Where it's first grade Thug Life, where you wore the overalls but only put on one of the shoulder straps.
Yeah.
I just thought of like 3 memes I'm going to use that image for. There's memes are coming.
I really don't like Red Wolf very much either.
Yeah. There was somebody that made a comment about Native American characters in comic books and like, can we not have them with a bow and arrow or feathers or an axe or something? Can we just have them?
I saw a lot of that hate as well.
Shotgun.
Yeah, there
Right.
was Forge back in X-Men forever ago. I think he debuted in like X-Force, but he was Native American, but only had like the headband.
Okay. I can see that.
I want to see him with a phaser. Just like,
Red Wolf with a phaser.
Mm-hmm. that's what I'm picturing right now, and I like it.
Who is this Karnak person?
Karnak? I don't know who this Karnak is.
Because I kind of like the little cut-up green, shroudy
Yeah.
look to him. He looks dark and sinister. So
That one and Hyperion? Hyperion, yeah, that one. Who the hell's that? We're looking at you, Chad.
yeah, you are the answer to the questions when it comes to comic books. So far.
For these, I've been out of the mix for so long.
Okay.
I'm assuming he's radioactive.
he could be.
It could be.
And I really don't like the look of Black Panther.
Some
Slightly too much cat-like to me.
well, that was kind of like that's pretty much Black Panther's look. He's
Yeah,
a
I don't
panther.
know.
Daredevil's
So-
nice.
Daredevil looks pretty good.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to like mess up Daredevil.
Yeah, I mean, dark.
Whether it be like red, yellow, black.
Yeah. I mean, there's really only one way to mess up Daredevil, and Ben Affleck did it.
I was thinking it, but I actually kind of liked that movie. Like, he did well in it. It was just a bad storyline.
I poke fun at Ben Affleck, but I'd hang out with him probably. Maybe.
Lose a lot of money on poker in Vegas.
I think one of the ones that I'm very interested in, because I think it might be my favorite look now, is the Spider-Gwen.
Yeah, there have been a lot of interesting takes on Spider-Man, and I think Spider-Gwen may have happened at some point before.
Yeah, it has. This is the first I'm seeing.
Yeah, there's been like Spider-Girl, various spider things. There was actually a post at some point today, and I got to go read up on details of it because I just skimmed over it. But there was like an article about a character that showed up long before Spider-Man in a different comic book. It was a female character that had like made her own web shooters.
Yeah.
And it looked just like the Spider-Man stuff.
Awesome.
So I'll have to go back and like we'll comment on that at some point. What?
So when me and Mills lived together back in the day, he used my computer to download stuff, and I saw one called Spider Babe.
Man?
It's not a comic.
Man.
And you made me think of that when you started going variants, and I was just like,
Man,
that was horrible. Like, it ruined Spider-Man.
you guys are going to test my no editing policy. I know that much.
What do you think of the new Iron Man?
The new Iron Man looks like an Acura.
That's
Have you read anything on? They're adding Indestructible back to the title.
The indestructible Iron Man?
Yes.
I have to comment also, Kyle scrolling is horrendously loud. So just in case that shows up on the audio, you
was
have to
Kyle.
call out the obvious.
There you go.
It's not your car. If you listen to this, it's not someone else in the office. It is Kyle.
But yeah, I like the way they slimmed him down. But apparently, that's one of the things they're going for is to make the suit. They're going to be with, obviously new technologies and new things. But from what I read in an article, some of the guys that were involved in the Silver Age Invincible Iron Man are also going to be involved with it this time. That's why they added Invincible back, because they felt that, like, the Incredible Hulk and the Amazing Spider-Man, it should have been there the whole time, which,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I like it. But their thing was technology has progressed. It's gone into the future. So Iron Man's not going to be the best suit in this new thing.
We can 3D print titanium now.
Right? Exactly. And it's kind of interesting you say it like that is, people would have much better things now than when Iron Man first hit the shelves.
Yeah. I can imagine Iron Man coming to save the day, and everyone else is already there. Like, composites, bruh. You ain't got that Kevlar? Like,
But they're going to do a very slimline version. Whatever material his suit's built out of, hugs and like curves to give him the look of a human more than a machine.
and the fill of an Acura. I like
well,
that.
it's like all the V lines and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
It reminded me of pick your beige sedan we got these days. An Acura, Toyota.
One, his chest looks like it has like a sapphire there instead of,
It's fancy.
I don't like that at all. It's
And
like
has
he's
he
wearing a
always
diamond necklace.
always had the little blasters on the outside of his hands too?
That's new to me.
So like he could clap and really fast and hard with them on both sides.
Well, we've already had Quicksilver do that in the X-Men movie.
Yeah.
We've already had the Flash do that in the Arrow TV show.
Yeah.
So the whole vibrating hands and making things explode thing, it's kind of already been done.
But has it been done by a man-looking suit of metal?
I don't think so. But
'Cause-
there's a lot of years to review. I don't know. It could have been done.
But yeah, I'm interested about that. I was kind of going through the ones. I started reading Guardians of the Galaxy just because I like the storyline, the
Yeah.
space. It's not hovered around Earth or anything. So I'm definitely picking that one up to read. With the people involved in Iron Man, it being invincible again, and knowing that there's not going to be any more movies of just Iron Man, I'm willing to pick it up.
I'm sure they'll reboot it at some point.
Yeah,
this is
but not
probably
for a
leading
while.
into a reboot, like
right?
out of nowhere.
Reset MCU like all together.
Yeah,
Like,
they bring Bucky, like from Captain America, and like he's already got one metal arm. Let's just go. We'll stick
Nice.
Jarvis on a flash drive and stick him in his neck. And
that actually, you mentioned Jarvis. Vision, I don't know if I don't like the look of Vision because I didn't like him as, I don't know, the latest movie, really.
yeah,
But I mean, green's my favorite color. And it's got to be a smart computer, you know? I mean, these are two things I should like about this. But I think the latest movie kind of disinterested me in him. But I'm still going to read Invincible Iron Man, and I'm sure he'll be in there, so.
yeah. There were so many things with the Avenger movie that I'm like, oh, this is one of the best or strongest characters that was a member of the Avengers, and it's like we're just going to 3D print this dude, and it's going to be like Ultron created Vision, but the way it just sort of came about in the movie, it's like, oh, he's immediately aware of everything and can solve all the problems. Like, can he summon the Iron Legion? Can we just go? This is probably this is RDJ's exit. Like, oh, the Vision has like Jarvis's. He's listened to me a lot, and he has those memories. He knows when to call the guys. I'm gonna go hit the couch.
Apparently, in this one, from what I read, the new Jarvis or whoever he has now, I don't know the way the storyline's going to be.
Yeah.
But his suit and all of that is actually going to be made to challenge him more morally, and just like a lot more kind of almost like a dialogue between himself and Iron Man, or himself and I mean, it's really all him at that point. So it's hard not to think about himself in the third and fourth person.
I like that idea actually, because there can be a lot more.
Yeah, and a lot of that kind of
conversation, his little smartness coming out, which is one of my favorite things about that character.
So that's something to look forward to. I'm actually that's the one I've read the most on.
The internal conflict that you described makes him sound like he's going to be schizophrenic.
Right.
And,
it's probably not going to be that bad.
we have to go save the day. No, we don't.
We can
Let's go
only
here.
hope.
Did you ever follow Doctor Strange?
No.
That's someone that interested me quite a bit because it feels like it's going to have a little more magic to it, maybe.
Yeah.
And than some of the others. And then Thor. I like that storyline. The gender of Thor doesn't really matter too much to me, but they make her cute. It's another reason to follow. So we'll see how that goes.
Does Doctor Strange kind of look like an odd Lando to y'all? He looks like Lando, and he's just holding the axe out.
Someone else made that comparison.
Really?
They actually posted a picture of Lando and photoshopped him into the Doctor Strange outfit. And like Lando's...
That's
just
beautiful.
imagine Doctor Strange pushing Colt 45.
Sometimes they're looking at him like, that's just like the painting I bought.
I can see
It's
it.
Lando.
I definitely see
It's
it.
the only alcoholic beverage smooth enough for the Marvel Universe. Cloud City.
Right.
I think his axe could be cooler.
Yeah, it could be.
Looks kind of dull, like he's going to bludgeon
Well, see,
you
I
to
come
death.
from fantasy, so I mean, there's like 3 pages on the intricacies of the designs of a drow weapon on some books, or a dwarven hammer. So, yeah, when there's a few squigglies and a stone, I've seen better in my mind.
Yeah.
If it was an MMO, it'd be a two-handed blunt weapon for me, and not an axe.
Yeah.
Because it's...
So,
Well, you got to sell action figures, so everything has to be like it breaks apart into 8 different weapons and buy them all.
I didn't know the Transformers were Marvel.
And the axe head opens up to a play set,
Oh, nice. Very nice.
scaled appropriately for
You
the
can
figures
slide
you
all your
have.
beers in the handle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
How many? If it was like the shotgun for beers, how many?
Yes.
Would it have a plug in there so you could only put 3?
I think 3's pushing it.
3's pushing it.
Oh, yeah. So you sent me an image of the new Batmobile.
Yeah, I like it. I want one.
It gets more technical and angled and straight lined every time they redo it.
It's got a turret on the front.
It does, but I miss Michael Keaton's Batmobile.
Michael Keaton's Batmobile as a car nerd, like the wheelbase on that, you will never turn that thing, especially in like a city in Gotham where like it's kind of like the streets of downtown Houston or like Manhattan. You're never going to turn that car.
I think that's what plays so wonderfully into a comic book is watching a car that's like 18 feet wide and 40 feet long make a 90-degree turn up a building at 65 miles an hour without even skidding out anywhere.
Yeah.
And the glass doesn't break as you drive up the building either. That's why we like comic books.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's really hard to take that to a movie because then you can see how unrealistic it is.
Yeah.
Well, the one in like Batman Forever, it was like the little fin was wobbly because they couldn't get it to stay right. I mean, that was like I like that, but my favorite still is the tumbler. Like even after looking at this one, because the tumbler, I like the realistic thing, and I really want to take that to work, so I'm not late.
Yeah, the utility of it. There's a certain like artistic vision for the Batmobile.
Yeah,
and like I'm a car nerd. I really like like the Chip Foose like car art where the cars are sort of stretched out and they're squashed down a little bit. And so like the Batmobile from like the Batman animated series back in the day had that look to it. Had that like really it's again like they took the Batman and Batman Returns Batmobile and made it even more absurdly long. Yeah.
And like for me the cabin always looked like a scrunched down bat head.
Yeah.
I assume they did that on purpose.
It's like Bat Shimp from Three Stooges.
Exactly.
I just noticed when because it has the two doors, when they're closed, it doesn't line up. They should really work on that.
Well, for a prop car, I don't know if this was actually used in production, but for like a media car, it's pretty awesome.
It's dusty.
I would drive it.
Yeah,
I couldn't fit in that thing. Like my head would get cut off when they closed the door.
I made the comment on our Facebook page when I posted this that for a dude that runs around in a rubber suit, like this dude ain't never heard of Armor All. Like that car is so dusty. Like detail your ride, man.
Oh, that's awesome.
If Vicky Vale just came out of nowhere and had to go somewhere, where's she gonna sit, man?
Well, if you look at the fourth picture down, it looks like. Where it has the one open, it gets the side view. Like, I don't think a midget could fit in that seat for the passenger. Like, it's so crunched down. I'm like, no.
And I question the effectiveness of that single roll bar down the middle of the cabin. Because I don't think those doors are holding if you roll it over.
Probably not.
Well, he's just gonna like hop out and
yeah, like
something crazy.
The Batman the tumbler cycle.
Yeah.
From Dark Knight. When he goes to turn sideways and the tires roll end over end, but he stays in the same plane.
I like that quite a bit.
We're rolling on a square, and your head's not moving, and you just like nailed it, landed it, whatever.
Yeah, the inside of it looks a lot like a control panel on a rig.
Yeah, actually. Wait, is that our software?
Oilfield life.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what a drilling chair looks like sometimes.
That's a scroll graph.
Yeah. But in terms of like, I'm shocked that they went that detailed on the interior of a media car. It looks like it all should be there.
It looks like it all works too.
Yeah.
I want to start pressing buttons.
What does this do? Grappling hook.
Yeah.
The top left one, I bet you, is shark repellent. I think they should put that in there. Just saying. Sharknado comes through.
When is Robin going to make his debut in the DC universe, in the film universe?
You'll never know. I really don't know why he hasn't. He was once.
Well, they kind of set that up with doing Nightwing instead, actually. But Nightwing's still a version of Robin.
Yeah, but now we're going to go to the Superman movie with an assumably older Batman. So maybe I'm hoping with everyone else they're trying to shoehorn in this movie to set up Justice League, I'm hoping Nightwing makes an appearance somewhere.
I know a little bit about Marvel and a lot less about DC if it wasn't in a movie.
Okay. So you saw all three of the most recent Batman movies?
Oh, yes. Right? Multiple times.
Okay. So at the end, dude fella McKidd from Third Rock from the Sun.
Yeah. Levitt?
Yeah. Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
Nailed it. He gets like the invitation, finds the cave, Friggin' Batman and Catwoman are like in Paris. They spot like, hey, look, spoilers by the way,
on movies that came out years ago.
yeah. If you haven't seen the movie yet,
Get over it.
yeah. If you write hate mail, be angry.
Because their email box doesn't work. AOL is not working for them.
Yeah, like, oh, I'm ready to write this. But yeah, he finds the Batcave and everything, and it's like all of his stuff, and assumably he was going to do something with it while Batman's off in Paris.
That's right. I mean, yeah, I saw that. But I thought they were done with that after that movie. They were done with that. Then they were going to reboot it. I assumed clean slate on all Batman stuff.
You got to think with how much money they were pulling in. They're like, just give us a window just in case.
Yeah,
That's better safe than sorry. I could care less about a Robin one. I want a Batman Beyond. I want a Batman Beyond movie. Like, we have the technology,
right?
Like, forget Spider-Man getting relaunched again. I want to see Spider-Man 2099.
Right. We had a few people named to movies or series this week.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I was going to see who was going to try the name first.
Yeah. Nope.
No one.
John Bernthal.
Okay, that's a name that is pronounceable.
Was there a different
announcement? Is a different name.
I call him the Operative.
Yeah, the Operative from Serenity.
It's Chiwetel Ejiofor. I don't know.
Yes, it wasn't me. I really wanted to YouTube an interview with him and see how his name was said, but I figured I could wait it out and have someone else say his name first.
I'll be the guinea pig.
You're going to be that guy?
I am by far the worst out of the three of us.
Do it again, Kyle. Do it again, Kyle.
You know this is going to end up on our blooper episode.
Dude, no, this is all live.
We're doing it live.
Do it. Say it again, Kyle.
Yeah.
So much pressure.
I'm not even going to try it.
In the silence.
Hold on. Chiwetel? Because I have no idea. It doesn't make sense.
So he will be playing Baron Mordo in Doctor Strange.
The Operative. That's what we're calling him.
The Operative.
If I ever get to interview him, I'm going to be like, you're the Operative?
You've seen the Serenity movie, right?
Yes.
His character was... He did a very good job in that movie. So I'm very interested to see him in anything. He's one of a few guys that have popped up in a couple of shows that I've liked, and I'm really hoping for good things.
Oh, okay, so I had to look. I actually Google searched the Operative Serenity.
He was in American Gangster, too. Maybe.
Yeah.
And I think 10 Years a Slave was his last movie.
Yeah.
No, not his last, but
one of the
did
last.
A few.
I enjoy this man's work. And I feel horrible that I don't know his name. But
I've read it a lot, and I've seen it on credits, but I have never attempted to pronounce it.
I tried. Failed miserably, I guarantee it.
So do you know, you don't know any of the Doctor Strange storyline?
Not at all.
That's kind of up in arms. Apparently the original Baron was not black. People don't like the change. And there's something about why he has the title Baron that everyone feels the story will have to change because of his race.
Get over it.
Exactly.
Get over it. It's
This
like
is
everyone. It's like everyone crying about Michael B. Jordan being the Human Torch in the Fantastic Four. Be thankful they landed a fantastic actor for the role, and detach yourself from the fandomness of whatever your poison is. Like, for serious. So. I'm not even going to go on the rant because we're late. But, but you have to detach yourself from. You really? How rude! How dare you? How rude!
That. Wasn't supposed to do that. That is odd.
Shouldn't have, but didn't.
I'm interested. He's going to play the bad guy, which I thought he did a really good job of not exactly being bad in Serenity. He was on the bad side, but
having the presence to bring the pressure to the
and
rest
like
of
the dude
cast.
could walk in the room like in slow-mo and it would pucker up. You're afraid that dude is coming even in slow-mo. That's how he like commanded it, like for that role. I thought he did a really good job. So I'm really looking forward to him being a bad guy against a good guy.
Yeah.
And him playing it. And I agree with you 100%. The dude can act. Let's see what he's got as the Baron.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
So I need to take just 1 second to try this. We're going to see how Google says it.
As we wait.
Right.
Possible. This one got post-grads, man.
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Yeah.
That did not work out as well as you had hoped for.
Yeah, you have like other things
Chiwetel
playing.
Ejiofor.
One more time.
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Okay.
That's probably
Is that how I said it the first time?
not at all. Not at all. You were like, there was like extra syllables in there. We're giggling. That we'll talk about it on another podcast. But we were talking about a one of Neil's character names.
Give it away.
And no, I'm foreshadowing. There's a difference. But that's why names have us giggling so much right now.
Yeah, my character name was Ishmael.
No.
Oh, not gonna do it?
Chad should say it. It'll be more fun. Yeah,
He's gonna get it wrong and then laugh.
Come on, Chad. Give it a shot.
Okay.
You're trying to read it, aren't you?
Yes. Well, I had to be reminded about what it was, but it was like Ishmael and Shamamammador.
It's close. There was no mama in my character name, but other than that, you got it about right. So, but it's great. I'm really looking forward to the combination of Benedict versus.
Why?
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Thank you, Kyle. I'm so looking forward because I like both of those characters a lot. Y'all are not making this easy.
Oh, it's gone off the rails, man.
It is. But yes, I'm very, very much looking forward to Doctor Strange. Very, very much.
It looks like it could be great.
You can't even talk right now. Don't even try. You can't talk.
Breathing.
Well, we've had a lot of fun on this episode. We hope you've had a lot of fun too.
If you stuck with us past all this, bless you.
One thing to note: Chad did get our podcast up on YouTube this week,
Yes.
and
So
as we wave to the GoPro, how red we are laughing, we will have this on YouTube. So watch
this is
it.
probably one of the worst
Yes.
episodes to have video for.
I'm so glad that we have a camera in the room now.
Ejiofor.
All right, roll the credit music. We're done. We're done.
You have a good one.
And to all, a good night.
Technical difficulties.
It's the wrong.
You're on the wrong board.
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
This is getting explained before we roll out. This is getting explained. We had technical difficulties, and we have a second mixer, and so there's this entire really horrible setup to the right of me right now. Yeah,
Yeah, we can do that.
yeah. So
This is what we're doing.
this is what we're doing. Second mixer, all live, and we can't even keep it. Anyway, music.
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
All right. Let's do it right this time. Let's hear the outro.
One more time. Thank you, Third Coast Nerds. Facebook, Twitter, all the stuff. YouTube's now. Have a good night.
Enjoy.